Sorry, I had a message that I was just replying to. What was I up to? How violating it was. Just makes you feel like a piece of shit that someone can just disrespect you that much. I think that's what I really struggle with the most out of everything, is just the violation. The violating me when they're meant to be, you know, the one true person that you do love and that you can count on, and then they're doing that behind your back is a big fucking joke. Like, I don't see what's funny about that at all, hey. Yes, that time I was there, I was smoking ice, and my tummy was pretty much pumped with it all the time. Like, it was just always there because, like, you know, every time I tried to leave, he'd be like, you know, do more, because then he knew I couldn't drive, and I don't know, there was just so much messed up stuff that happened, and every time I try and leave, like, I'd run out of credit, I would have no service, my phone would get cut off. Like, I just couldn't understand what was going on, and it would make me so angry because, like, every time I try and escape, something would happen that would keep me there, and, like, I kind of felt like I deserve this. Like, what am I meant to do? Where am I meant to go? Like, I try and tell people, and they're just like, you know, oh God, she's a crackhead. Like, don't listen to her. She's smoking crack, so that's what all crackhead think, and just stuff like that. And I was literally trying to just cry out for help. Like, one time I ended up in hospital, and I cut my leg, and I ended up with cellulitis. Like, it was pretty bad, and that was a cry out for help as well. And still, like, nobody can understand it, and it just makes me so sad. Like, I don't want people messaging me being like, I'm so sorry what you've been through and shit like that, because I don't want, like, sympathy. I don't want that at all. Like, it kind of makes me feel like, you know, oh shit, like, I'm sorry for making you guys feel bad, but I don't want to do that. I just want to put awareness out there that these things happen, and, you know, if I could stop someone else from going through half the shit that I've been through, then, like, I feel like I'm doing a good job. Because, like, sometimes looking at these videos, it might make me look weak, but I can tell you now, like, everything that I've been through, I feel like I'm a strong person. Like, sure enough, there's still things that get me down, but my God, I just couldn't give a shit about a lot of things. Like, if someone doesn't like me or someone's got an issue with me, that's your problem, not mine. I couldn't give a shit. It's none of my business what you think of me, and I couldn't give a shit what you think if you, like, don't like my video, or you think it's too out there, or who does that. Well, don't watch it then. Like, I really couldn't give a shit about little stupid things. Like, the things I care about in life is helping people, talking about things, get awareness out there, and everything like that, because it would make life so much easier. Like, a lot of people will be, like, thinking, oh shit, like, you know, this is uncomfortable to watch because nobody talks about stuff like this, but I do, and I feel as if we should all be able to say what we feel, like I said in my previous video, so we can get our feelings out there. It won't be weird anymore. Like, we can open up and talk about things, and we can all help each other, reassure each other. You know, it won't be, if something drastic happens in someone's life, it won't be like, oh my God, like, how do you deal with that? Or we can't even, you know, comprehend that, so we can't help deal with it because it's too much for us to hear. Like, if we're used to stuff like that, it'd be so much easier to help other people because we know how to deal with these things. And, you know, I can see I'm not innocent in all of this. I'm not saying I am. Like, I did smoke ice, and I did do, like, I don't know, there's probably stuff that I, like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Initiated sort of thing, like, but at the end of the day, what I was trying to do was get away and stuff. Like, I do think that, you know, there was times where I could have left a couple of times, but they were forced, and, like, you know, my mum flew my dad over and without telling me, and just rocked up and like, you know, oh, here's him, and, you know, we're coming to take you. And it's like, you know, I don't need to be taken. I just need someone to walk beside me, not take me. Like, I'm not a baby. Like, I've been through more shit than probably both of you have been through, and I just need someone to walk out with me, not to walk in front of me or behind me, just to walk beside me. That's all I think everyone should ask for. You can always offer advice, but you can't tell someone how to live their life or what they have to do. Like, you can be there, but you can't make someone physically make a choice. Everything was all good with my ex and I, and the reason I did go there, even though he was so much older than me, like he was double my age, and he was my boss, was at the start, he was the nicest guy ever. Like, he just filled that hole, what I was missing, like, never really having, well, I had a dad, but we didn't have that bond, and to miss that bond is a really hard thing. That love and protection is what I missed when I was growing up, I feel. He was never bad to me, my stepdad. He was a dad, but we just didn't have that connection that most father-daughters do, because we weren't biological, which is fine. I still had someone raise me, and I could still see, you know, things in him, but it just was not that bond. And I found that bond in my ex. And he was amazing. And then it was one day, we decided we were gonna have sex when he got home, right? And I messaged him when he was at work, and I said I didn't feel like it anymore. And he messaged me back, and he said, well, you told me that we were going to on my break, so I'm coming home because you said we were going to. And I said, I don't want to anymore. And he came home, and he just nagged and nagged and nagged, and was like guilt tripping me and made me feel so bad. And I said to him, if you want to do it that bad, just fucking do it then. If I mean nothing to you, just do it. And he did. And I laid there crying. I was bawling my eyes out, and he was like patting me on the head, apologizing why he did it. I'm sorry for hurting you. I know that I'm hurting you. But he still did it. And from that day on, that was about 3 months into it, I never wanted to be there. Like, I just wanted to escape so bad, but there was just nowhere I could go. Like, I guess after hitting the drugs and being with someone that was so much older than me, people did see me as a wreck. Like, you know, she's out of control and stuff, which I get that. Like, I guess if I hadn't been on the other side of it, I probably would have seen that too. Like, there's a lot of things that I've been through. If I hadn't have been through it, I wouldn't have been able to see the other side of it. And I understand that a lot of people can't comprehend, like, lots of things that do happen out there unless it happens to them. Like, you can't fully understand something until that it's happened to you. And I get that. I completely do. But hopefully, like, with my videos and stuff, like, talking about these things and just putting it out there that it does happen, like, you can get some awareness and understanding and some knowledge from this, that, you know, if it does ever happen to someone in your family or one of your friends, or, you know, your daughter or your son, because it's not just just girls that go through this shit, boys go through it just as much. Like, that you could be able to help someone because you're like, oh yeah, I watched Kim's video and, you know, she went through this shit, and it's hard to try and crawl out the other side. Like, there's plenty of times that I thought I wasn't coming out the other side. Like, you know, I thought that I was a goner, like I was a no one. But I just kept hoping that one day that I would get out somehow, and I finally did. And that was the day that I said to my ex, if you don't let me go, I'm going to take the porn to the cops and tell them you filmed me illegally. And he let me go, right? But he stole my phone. And I emailed that video to myself, and he stole my phone. He's got all my accounts, and as soon as you log onto the Wi-Fi, it logs straight into everything. And he deleted it. And he's got like 4 of my phones, and there's like sex videos on there, and he just like held them ransom. And I owed him $2,000 for my dog when he got hit by a car, and I said to him, I'll pay you back the money, I've got no issue with that, but as long as you give me those phones back. And he wouldn't give them back. He reckons he didn't know where they were. He buried them or some shit, like he buried my spray tan machine and laptop and everything like that when I left. Like, this guy was so delusional. And I still sort of feel guilty for him in a way, and I don't know why I do. Like, when I left, he kept baby photos of me and my brother, and like pairs of my undies and dirty undies, and slept with him in his pillow, and he was just like that fucked up obsessed, but he was still out rooting everyone else anyway. But like, I just can't comprehend what went through his mind to do those things and think the way he did. Like, it's not normal. I'm sort of like not glad that I went through all this shit, but it's definitely opened up my eyes, and like, I analyze every situation like completely. Like, I look into things really deep now, because there's an underlying issue to everyone that has an addiction or is depressed or anxiety, or like whatever I said in my previous videos. Like, there's an underlying issue to everything. When someone's not happy in their life, it's because there's a reason to it. Now, what is that reason? If we could talk about that reason and heal, like have healing time and speak to someone just openly about it, and they're like, yep, this is how you deal with it, do this, do that. Or I've heard that, you know, if you write things out, and it slows down your mind. So when you write on a piece of paper, your brain can't, you can't write as fast as your brain thinks, so it slows down your thought pattern. And then once you write it out, you can see visually what is going on in your head, and you put it down on paper, and then it makes more sense because you can see it in front of your eyes, and it slowed your mind down, and you stop ticking over and over and over the same things because you've written it down in front of you. Now, it seems a bit weird sometimes when you want to write down things you don't want anyone else to see, but if you just have a little diary somewhere that you can just sketch out things, doesn't matter if it's neat or messy or whatever, just get out whatever's in your head. If you do that, it'll slow down your thinking, and it helps like amazing. Like, I've done it so many times, just when my head is completely full of shit and I'm just like, I'm gonna explode or I'm gonna break down. If I do that, it helps me so much. Just calm down, just slow your thought pattern, just get whatever's on your mind out, read it, make it into sense. Like, it makes sense after you write it out, and everything seems to be